response mechanism prevents the marketplace from working, and so the marketplace is delayed and denied, and it's kept kind of on the fringes until that reform, that remedy itself, collapses. There's an accounting of this, a kind of somewhat speculative piece in Charles Hugh Smith's musings of twominds.com. It's a very fine contrarian website. The idea that scripts, IOUs, letters of credit, or indeed notched sticks can act as perfectly legitimate money is not surprising to anyone who has read a couple of books. One is David Graeber's book called Debt: The First 5,000 Years, and Fernand Braudel's 3-volume history of modern capitalism. I've got the second volume, Wheels of Commerce, and it's in French, and I've just skimmed it. a big job. When exchange money, which would be in Greece euros, is in short supply, a liquidity crisis, various forms of currency arise to fill the need to grease commerce. Money has, of course, two purposes: to lubricate trade and commerce, and to store value. The two functions appear to be seamless when one form of money fills both needs, but quite often there is no one form of money available in sufficient quantity to fill both needs, and that's what's happening in Greece. And so you have an interest now, and probably in some quarters, a growing use of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, and they can serve, the Bitcoins, of course, the digital money can serve as exchange money. Requires, of course, a computer connection. In its cash form, the euro will, of course, be still money, but there may not be enough of them to go around to enable trade. He proposes that we're witnessing the first phase of an era of widespread non-state currencies, that is, currencies based by issued by private parties rather than nation states or central banks. These could be crypto digitals such as Bitcoin, gold-backed currencies, or any number of other variations. Of course, it could also be gold and silver in coin form, which often are circulated. If you buy American money, it costs you, if you buy a bag of American money, it costs you about $16,000. I'm just guessing now, in silver. If it were silver dollars, $1,000 costs you about $16,000 in paper. But states, of course, are jealous about their prerogative to control, to have a monopoly control over the medium of exchange. And of course, you know why. States don't like competition. States don't like private theft. States don't like private wars. States don't like private issuers of money, because they want to control everything. They want to control money, because if you control that and credit, you can pay for all of your global misadventures and your domestic human engineering. Nation states and central banks are anxious to maintain a monopoly on money issuance. The power to issue money, issue credit, along with forced conscription and war, are the ultimate foundations of state power. And we live in an age where you might say, the decline, the senescence of the nation state, and we're seeing kind of on the horizons, these little movements on the horizons, these actions which are part of the marketplace. He quotes in his brief essay a correspondent who says that there is emerging the idea of private label currencies, multiple exchange, and the prospect of multiple exchange systems operating concurrently in parallel. Breaking free of the state's power to depreciate our money at will is a major advance in human history, in human liberty, and in economic security. So if you're engaging in commerce and you have a medium of exchange that it can't be created from nothing, right? From fiat, ex nihilo, from nothing. That's the Latin phrase for it. Then you can be sure that you are holding on to an asset which maintains its buying power. It's fine to have $1 million, but if your $1 million loses 0.01% a day, or 2% a year, or 10% a year, you're losing your buying power. What matters is not the number of units that you have over time, but whether the units that you have are in a substance that endure the ravages of human intervention in the marketplace, and that would be inflation by central banks and by the banking sector. The banking sector is responsible for the diminution of value of your savings, you, my listeners' savings, and so Greece affords the marketplace to come up with these solutions, and we are Americans. We think we're ahead of everybody, but in fact, Kenya has a much more advanced financial system than we do, even though it has, like we, a corrupt central bank. There is the M-Pesa system, which allows for gold money transfers by phone. And if you have your asset tied in gold, it's based on it's a fraction of some gold held on reserve by the issuer. You hope, right? You're having to trust the issuer of the digit, the digital reference, and if he can be trusted and if he can be relied upon, then all the users of that currency can swap bus fares and do shopping by phones, transferring fragments of digital gold. Again, these are just referential claims on a hoard of gold somewhere in the issuers of that money's bank, right? In his vault, he has the gold, which is the basis of all the digits that are flying around Kenya. Well, if you are looking to go into business for yourself because we face a grave crisis in our country, make sure you contact Bruce Krebs. Call Bruce Krebs today. In fact, get on his agenda, on his calendar. He runs Entrepreneur Source, and what he does is get you, my listener, into a business of your interest, but if somebody else is making. You buy into somebody else's line or someone else's brand and become the local rep. You have a service area and make a separate living. You need to have a plan B, and Bruce Krebs will help you develop a plan B. Entrepreneur Source is at 875-5621. Call today. Get a hold of Bruce, who was on our Entrepreneur Hour this morning at 11. That's every other Wednesday at 11 o'clock here at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. And my show, by the way, is Nuganomics.com, the number 4 show. Number 1, we've got Digital Drive with Russell the Kid, and we there explore the marketplace in the digital economy, a lot on surveillance, a lot on gadgetry and advances in cell phones and the like. The number 2 show, well, I'm going to let you decide who that is. It probably is Sean Hannity. Sean is on just after me. He made the switch here to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. You, my listener, have a friend. He needs to make the switch too. He needs to get off of the old guard, if you will, and shift over to our media platform. We are indeed a media platform. I'm the editor of Nuganomics.com. I'm a writer, editor. My fingertips formerly stained with printer's ink from a couple decades at the Chattanooga Times and Free Press. And I write at Nuganomics.com. I've got a fine little essay at Chattanoogan. Make sure you go to Chattanoogan.com here in Chattanooga, run by our leading digital journalist, John Wilson, and check the opinion section. It's about the anti-discrimination ordinance proposed by Chris Anderson, the man who enjoys homosexual acts and styles himself a gay man, no less, and an office holder. And want to mention that make the switch here to have your friend make the switch here. The number 3 show probably is Cowboy Up with Tex, and who's been out of the town for a couple days. Expect him back very soon. And my name is David Tulis. Online, we are at hotnewstalkradio.com. We stream instantly. That you type us in your URL bar, and on your smartphone, just get the TuneIn Radio app and type in Hot News Talk Radio, and you can watch us well beyond the pulsing range of our AM tower in Saudi Daisy. We are a Saudi Daisy station, and I do want you to know that. We are glad to be here with you. We think that if you love your neighbor, you'll buy local, and we work under some nostrums, right? Some sayings, if you will, some iron laws of local economy. Near is better than far. Small is way better than big. Simple beats complex. And down in the footnotes, I always have footnotes to shorten my argument. Always make 3 arguments. Okay, make 3 arguments They can be complex, but there need to be 3 of them, according to the law profession. In writing briefs, the footnotes would have that personal is better than corporate, and that physical is better than abstract. I think if you understand how these things work, you enjoy the prospect of local economy. And what is local economy? In a nutshell, local economy says that we face a national disaster because there are no solutions anymore that are national. The country is too big. It is unmanageable. We do not have representation any longer in the national government. One representative, Fleischman, represents 800,000 people. That's not representation at all. And if we had representation equal to let's say in the same ratio as we did at the founding, we would have 10,000 legislators, which are that's the ratio of per representative to citizen in the early days. We would have to have 10,000 or more legislators to represent us in the House. Well, that's not going to happen, so we are not represented, and there are no national solutions. There are no political solutions. Even if we had Ron Paul, our greatest statesman, at the helm, he would be insufficient to stop the coming disaster, the coming avalanche. And the avalanche that is ahead, the meltdown, is highly deserved. It will be very refreshing, though you, my listener, are going to lose half of your net worth. Okay, that's I'm going to promise you that. And of course, I'm speaking to maybe the average person, but if you're average, my listener, you'll lose half your value in the coming meltdown. And of course, those highly invested in national economy are going to lose even more. And the top 0.1% of the elites who have carried on in the carry trade, the currency exchange, the exchanges, and the mergers and acquisition, and the debt equity, and the whole abstract economy. Some of them will survive, but they're in for a surprise too. And no one can stop what's going to happen. No one can stop the disaster, which is a moment of recognition. It will be an epiphany, and suddenly, well, not suddenly, but over time, the collapse will bring back essential marketplace signals, such as price. There will be interest rates which are realistic. 0% interest rate for 10 years has created an artificial world where there is no cost, where money is free, where risk is essentially carried by the central bank. The Greenspan put, the Bernanke put, and now the Grandma Yellen put, all of them standing behind the gigantic creation of debt and credit in the dollar. Somehow, I have to work for my dollars, and so do you. And yet these people create dollars from nothing and then trade them on the currency exchanges with all their financial instruments, all their gambling in a great national economy casino. And we have to get back to reality. There has to be, for there to be a real reform on the other side of the crisis, a debt aversion. And local economy says that we can't stop these things. We need to understand them. And so we have to take steps, right? We have to take measures ourselves. And I think one of the main things that we have to count on is the fruit of marriage. Now, gay, there's no such thing as gay marriage, but the Poofter simulacrum of marriage will say, okay, that there's it's certainly a cultural phenomenon, a legal phenomenon now, a wonderful mystery, if you will. But real marriage is where you have family, and families are the basis of capitalism. And more importantly than that, I would say Christianity is the template upon which capitalism operates. And here's how that works, if you forgot. Or maybe you've not heard how that works. Christ died on the cross for enemies, for sinners, and you might say he lived imaginatively on their behalf. People who had not even been born, he died for them. And what he was doing was for his own glory and the glory of God. He was saving them from their sins for their benefit. And that's what the marketplace does. The marketplace is always about a savior saving someone from their problems. And this morning I tried to contact Lori Forster, who runs a web design service, and she's been out of town, and I've got some problems on my website. And when I have a problem on my website, I always call Lori Forster at Zenful Creations, because she's the one I know. She's the one who's helped me in the past. And so she's my savior on this problem. She emailed me back. She said, well, I've just come back. I'm piled up. And what exactly do you need? I said, well, she said, well, maybe I can talk you through your problems. I said, I emailed back, Lori, I really appreciate that. And when might you be available to help me? You need to, you can't walk me through these things. Okay. I just don't have the wherewithal, the mental capacity like you, my listener, have to deal with these questions, though theoretically perhaps I could. I want her to take care of it for me. Well, that's what the marketplace does. Every capitalist saves his customer from something, either a breakdown, either high costs, either slow procedures, all kinds of inefficiencies, and then capitalism always comes up with new solutions to problems you didn't even know you had. And that's Christianity. And Christianity is the basis of industrialization. Even though bad things have come from industrialization and corporatization, it is based on the idea that Christianity wants, and that is that every person find his higher purpose, his higher duty, of course, glorifying to God and obeying his laws, and looking out for strangers, widows, and orphans, and then one's customer. So capitalism is always thinking of the other person. Capitalism is making your customer succeed, and that's what I do. I try to do that here on my radio station. I make my listeners succeed. I make my advertiser succeed, and my investor, the people who own the company, right? The people who let me ride on their money. Well, that is what local economy is about, and so we have to think in terms of local solutions. So my goal is to not argue think globally, act locally, which is the environmentalist scheme, but rather think local and act local. And what happens there is, as I'm discovering in the past 3 years and working on this topic as a writer, what happens is all kinds of things they change in their form, in the way that they're significant. They change, and you start realizing that there are no national solutions, that politics is really overrated, that politics is a dead god, and that what has to happen is, you might say, other centrism, right? Where we think about other people, we make other people succeed. And if you want to succeed at dinner, you want to have a great dinner, let me recommend to you Delia's Authentic Mexican restaurant in Saudi Daisy. Delia's is run by Maria Hernandez, and it has a rich selection, loaded nachos, quesadillas, homemade tamales, enchiladas, with beef, chicken, and pork on Dayton Pike, right near the Thrasher Light. And Maria uses always the freshest ingredients and cooked to perfection. The special today is the taco salad, number 19. It's $1 off. Mention, if you ask for that, then that should be a clue that you're a radio station listener. But just make sure you say, hey, I heard about you on the radio, and your reward for that sweet comment is a cup of iced tea free. And the number at Delia's is 521-7145. That's 521-7145. We have a half-priced webpage on our website, Hot News Talk Radio, and there are some great coupons there. There's some fine things, including that from Jets. Jets, the best pizza in town. You can get $50 worth of great Italian food for only $25. That would be enough for 2 meals, maybe 3 meals that you can get at Jets. My name is David Tulis. I do thank you for giving me a couple minutes of your time. Here at Nuganomics.com, we cover local economy and the free market. We were talking a moment ago about the gay onslaught, and how Tennessee, its executive branch, capitulated to Obergefell, and I really pressed. I should have tried to press Senator Gardenhire into saying that there's something he could do about it. Well, really, it's an executive decision. It's an executive thing where the head of the state says, we're going to believe in marriage. And this opinion is a nullity. We're not bound by it. We can ignore it. Make us obey it. Make us obey it. And that would be a thing that would take a position to take that would require Christian courage. But hey, our governor is a Christian man who swore to uphold the Tennessee Constitution. Well, he's disregarded his oath somehow, acting as if this opinion by 5 judges in Washington absolves him of his oath to uphold the Constitution. And he has let the whole thing plow through. with Herbert Slattery now going on the offensive, trying to protect religious liberty in Tennessee. Well, why do we have to issue this letter with these other attorneys general saying that we're concerned, begging Congress, right? Begging Congress, help us protect religious liberty in Tennessee. Well, the means of doing that are already in hand, and that is to say, executive power by a lawful authority in Nashville. And his duty is called is described by the doctrine of the lesser magistrate, where a lesser magistrate defies and rebukes and denies and denounces and ignores or rebuffs an evil, wicked, or lawless law or edict from a supposedly higher authority. Of course, it is only supposed that the Washington High Court is above us, right? It is just a federal court, and we are here in Tennessee. Who's to say that we are beneath that body? But let's just pretend that it is a higher body than us. It is, after all, the high court in matters of legal appeal. So perhaps in one sense, it is above Nashville and above Governor Haslam. But we, in impotence, surrendered. We capitulated. And we somehow pretend that there is an absolution for an absolving from the oath of office that stood upon in God's presence, the Tennessee Constitution. The federal system has prescribed powers. They are powers that are enumerated in the Constitution, and marriage is not enumerated there, as the dissenters pointed out. And yet we have a widespread abdication and acquiescence. There's a kind of acceptance by acquiescence of this opinion from the executive branch, and it's not likely. Todd Gardenhire said that the governor will call a special session to deal with the defense of marriage. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, are there local solutions? Well, yes, there are local solutions, and they often run right directly in line with scriptural admonition about living a good life and a holy life. Thinking about other people, making other people successful. That's what small business is all about. That's why usually I interview a small business person here at Newgonomics.com to give you a sense of what people are doing, because I want you, my listener, to start your own little business. You need to have a plan B. You need to give more time to your children. You need to have children. Let's just start there. Have a baby. Then you have a stake in the future. This is David Tulis. Our show is Newgonomics.com.
Give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. Arnie Guest Goldsmith, Chattanooga's gold standard in quality, selection, and beautifully handcrafted jewelry. Arnie Guest Goldsmith has 7 jewelers on site and ready to assist you in the design of your one-of-a-kind diamond piece. Arnie Guest Goldsmith, Chattanooga's gold standard in quality, selection, and beautifully handcrafted jewelry. Arnie Guest Goldsmith has 7 jewelers on site and ready to assist you in the design of your one-of-a-kind diamond piece to the perfect affordable handcrafted gem. From just $20 silver earrings to your dream elegant work of art to adorn your finger, neck, and wrist, impressing your friends and family, Arnie Guest Goldsmith will ensure that your budget is met. Planning the perfect wedding or a special event? Then let Arnie Guest Goldsmith assist you in choosing or designing the keepsake that will last you a lifetime. All of Arnie Guest Goldsmith repairs and crafting are done in-house.